Well. Welcome to the live chat. Welcome one and all. Okay, so uh let me do some much needed greetings. Happy Sunday to you all. Yes, this is Sunday, isn't it? Okay. So let me see who's in the live chat right now. Looks like this may be a very busy day in the Sussex world, but there's so much going on. First and foremost, Prince Harry's statement yesterday. Apparently there was a plan to leak information. Not sure if that information was actually leaked, but there was a threat of a leak, and that was good enough. It was something that has happened before, obviously, and we'll talk about it. So, hello, Anastasia, Isabella, Carlene Wollaston, B10 Pow. You're not working today. B10, I'm always so worried about the fact that you work so much. I'm glad you're off. At least I hope you are. Sherry Ware, Lydia Washington. Wow, we got three of the moderators all lined up: Sherry, Anastasia, and Lydia. I hope y'all are not having a party without me. Also, there's Sonia Johnson, Rahini, um, Annie Bullard, Rona. I'm sorry, not Rona. Oh God, no, not Rona. Lorna. I'm sorry. As you can see, I'm super paranoid, right? I would never accuse anybody of being Rona. Thank you so much, Diepad. Thank you like 10,000. Thank you for the super sticker. And I'm glad you're here with us on this fine Sunday. Um, Hi, Lucy Wynn. Oh, wow. That was okay. Thank you very much. Lorna Castellanos. Thank you. And I hope I'm saying your name right. Also, I'm sorry. Ricola. Let me get rid of this. Ricola for my throat, of course. Okay, Church Nelly, welcome to the live chat. Another one of the mod squad. Also, there's Carol Lunn, NM, and Robert Collins. Welcome. Banny Boric, welcome. I don't think I've ever seen your name before. Oh, wait a minute. That name has to go. I know what that is. Oh, let me get rid of that one. That is one of those. Oh, did somebody get rid of it already? Yeah, we all know what that is. That has to go. Okay, I got it. Don't worry, mods. I got it. So long, Banny Boric, and whatever you were up to. Oh, I didn't so long him. I think I've highlighted him. Okay. Let me get rid of that. That's what I'm trying to do. Put in timeout. Okay. There we go. So, okay, welcome Fancy Fancy. And welcome J Law, Gene MK. Oh wow. You guys are feeling the love today. I just showed up, but I'll take it. Sheila Clemons McKay, thank you so much and happy Sunday to you. Good grief, there's already 282 people in the live chat. I am totally blown away. Okay. And thank you for that again, Sheila. Okay. Anna Espinoza. It would not be a Sussex Sunday without Anna Espinoza. Ruth Lopez, happy Sunday to you. B10 Pound, thank you for that. Thank you. And thanks for joining us on the live chat. And if you guys don't know, B10 sometimes listens while she's at work, and we all keep her company. So I'm glad we can do that. I'm glad for anybody we can keep company on their work day. Hi, JJ. And let's see. Okay, Ladyfoot. Ladyfoot. I'm into that. Hyacinth Newell, welcome to the live chat. Um, I'm starting already. Okay. Treasure chick. Treasure chick. Okay. And you are saying hello to some people, so let me help you out. Uh okay, I learned that the Duchess of Success that someone impersonated you. Did that happen? We just heard about this yesterday. But you know what, guys? That only goes to show you how desperate the derangers are that they are starting to impersonate accounts. And I'm going to tell you why that's happening. If it has anything to do with me. Hello, Angela One Love, Judith Reynolds, Vetty. The reason why that has happened is because I have blocked so many people that they need to go start new accounts. I wish I could show you exactly what I'm speaking of, but I am more than sure that I have blocked over 500 people from Royal Sussex. I don't know about the other channels, but I know what I've done. Hi, Diana Ware. Miss S, welcome to the live chat. Let's see. Who else we got here? Yeah, I have blocked so many people, so I am not surprised. Now, bear with me for 1 second because I'm trying to do a little experiment. Sometimes I'm yelling when I'm talking. So let me know if this sounds weird or different, but I'm actually wearing headphones right now, and I don't think it's making much of a difference. But okay, that didn't work out like I thought it would. Okay. All right. So that didn't work out. But yeah, I'm trying to experiment with some headphones because one thing about these microphones is that they're so strong and so powerful that the microphones actually take so much of your voice away that you can't even hear yourself talking. So, okay, I don't think that experiment worked out, but no worries, you guys. I got this. Okay, Ethan's husband too is here. Happy Sunday. Black Queen, welcome. H Knight, welcome. Frida Bodin, welcome. And Chantel 6, welcome to the live chat. And 4007 Sue. I don't think I've ever seen that name before, but welcome. Loretta Memphis, Carolyn Sowers, welcome to the live chat. And who else we got here? I think I missed a few people when I looked the other way. H Knight. Okay. All right. I think we're ready to get into it. Well, welcome, all 377 of you. I'm very appreciative of you guys coming in so early like this. Sandra Rose and Zenobia Wood. Welcome, Woods, that is. Welcome to the live chat. Joseph Berno, you always make a lot of great points. Welcome to the live chat. Okay, so much is going on. I mean, on the one hand, we have the Andrew thing, and I think that they should be, and now that I just thought about this, sometimes my thoughts and opinions evolve. I just thought about this. Is the reason that they were trying to, because if I understand from what I read, that they were going to leak this information about Prince Harry appealing for security for his family while if and when they ever visit the United Kingdom. Um, and if that is correct, I believe that someone in the royal household, because if you remember, the calls are coming from inside the house. The calls are coming from inside the house. So if you guys are aware of this, then you know that yes, the calls are coming from inside the house and that someone was willing to leak information in regards to the Sussexes asking for security for the family when they and not just the Sussexes, but a prince of the realm, someone born of the blood was asking for assistance. Allow me to pay for my family's security. Allow me to pay for my family's security. And they dismissed his request, which is a polite way to say that they told him, no, 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 you cannot have security for your family paid for by you involving security officers in this country. And as I mentioned yesterday, my mental Rolodex takes me all the way back to 1981 when Princess Diana got married. And there was this big talking point on Good Morning America or whatever special broadcast for the wedding because it was very early in the morning here in the United States. They said that they were not sure if Nancy Reagan's Secret Service detail would be allowed to carry firearms to protect the First Lady of the United States. Does anybody else remember that? I remember that. I remember it clearly. I remember Peter Jennings. I remember Barbara Walters, and I remember Nancy Reagan going to the wedding. She was the only person from the White House who went to the wedding. And I do believe she went to the wedding by herself. And so that was a big talking point. So, what does this have to do with Prince Harry? Well, let's fast forward to 2021. What is this? Some 40 years later? Is that right? Is this some 40 years later? Well, he wants to bring his family to the United Kingdom, but he's not able to do that because he doesn't believe that it would be safe for him to bring his family to the United Kingdom. And so, for that reason, he offered to pay for his own security, and that was not possible because they simply told him no. No explanation that we are aware of, but they told him no. They told him no. How does this all reflect on the Queen's legacy? How does this reflect on the Queen's legacy? I say it reflects badly. It looks awful for the Queen. The Queen, who is the head of the military, the head of the church, who the courts are in her name. There's so many things that's in her name. If you want to pay for something, you have to pull out one of those, what do you call it, gangsta gan notes and put that on the counter to pay for something because she's on the money. She's everywhere. But yet, when her grandson requests the ability to pay for his security so that the taxpayers do not shoulder the burden, he was told no. Is she in control or is she not? Is the Queen relevant or is she not? I'm assuming, and I'm not trying to be coy or I'm not trying to be rude when I say this, but I'm assuming she's still alive. I'm assuming that she's able to function. We have not seen Her Majesty the Queen standing since October. She has not been filmed standing since October. So what is going on? And how does this affect the Sussexes? Because the thing is, once the Queen crosses over to the other side to be with Prince Philip, then that will leave the Sussexes exposed and open to someone who is woefully inadequate, Prince Charles, who just doesn't seem to know how to say yes or no. He just seems to go along with a lot of things. And then, of course, there's his brother. And this is what used to keep me up at night was the idea that the Sussexes would be, I guess, vulnerable to the pettiness of Prince William. I mean, it was enough that they were driven out of the Kensington Palace and eventually driven out of the country. But is it possible that Prince William is the reason why they can't return to the United Kingdom? Is it his pettiness that has caused this refusal to pay for security for the Sussex family? Harry would like to go back. Now, most things I would say, okay, yeah, when people claim that Harry is like a fish out of water and he's lost and he can't find his way, I say no, that's not true. He has a life in the US. But there's a lot of things about his home country that he is so proud of. He fought for that country for 10 years as a combat soldier in Afghanistan. He's earned the right, but they refused to allow him to return with enough security so that his family would be safe. Now, um, that leads me to something. Again, I'm always going to let you know I'm not going to take credit for research that I haven't done myself. Well, I have research, but it doesn't start with me, it starts with Twitter. I usually don't mention the name of the accounts because I don't feel like I'm entitled to do that. But there's a lot of good information there that helps me do what I'm doing right here. So, again, I will not take credit for that if I'm not responsible for it. That being said, let me get to my point. Um, so, over a period of time, we do know that there's been talks that, let's see, let me make sure this is the right one. Well, let's start with him. Let's start with him since I just referenced him. Mr. The calls are coming from inside the house. This guy with that creepy voice. Let's start with him. Prince Harry left the royal family in order to make tens of millions of dollars from Netflix, Spotify, banks, and whoever the heck else wants to pay them. He can provide his own security if he wants to come back to the UK. And if he doesn't want to, then he will not be missed. Okay, isn't he from New Zealand? Doesn't he have that weird pinchy sound that he makes? Because there's a hybrid of a New Zealand and a English accent going on there. Isn't that where he's from? The calls are coming from inside the house. Isn't that where he's from? So he's from the place, and I'm sorry if you're from New Zealand, but I have to say this. He's from a place where they don't call Eminem, they call him Eminem. Eminem. That's where he's from. And I just don't trust people that comes from a place where they refer to Eminem as Eminem. I don't trust people like that. So I guess what I'm trying to say is Eminem. The calls are coming from inside the hand. I don't trust him. And so he's speaking for all of Britain. You're from a Commonwealth country. You're not even British. You're from a Commonwealth country. And because for whatever reason you seem to be kind of sweet on Knopf, or maybe even sweet on somebody else in the royal family, but because of that, you feel uniquely qualified to tell Prince Harry where he can and cannot go, if he can or cannot listen to Eminem. So, and we've spoke before about his ability to worm his way into situations. And even though today he's attacking Harry for and did he not read the memo? Did he not read the memo? What part of Harry has offered to pay for his own security did you not understand? That he could pay for his own security, but he's so I guess bent on this idea of attacking Harry. It's as though he didn't read the memo. Harry said, well, in the statement from his people, it says Prince Harry inherited a security risk at birth. He inherited a security risk at birth. He remained sixth in line to the throne and served 2 tours of combat duty in Afghanistan. And so Harry is obviously a target. Now, for some reason, when they tried to go after Princess Anne, I don't know if it was I don't know if it's because they just didn't want to have to listen to her mouth or if they were just naturally afraid of her. I think most people in this world would have some kind of natural, like primal fear against dealing with Princess Anne, whether it's the fact that, she has that very rugged, handsome look, or whether it's the fact that you just don't want to have to listen to her mouth. So when that time when they tried to snatch her, they were unable to do it. They were unsuccessful because she frightens people. people people are just naturally frightened of her. So it's no wonder that nobody messes with her. But I think more people would be willing to try to go after Harry than to go after Princess Anne because I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just being silly. But listen, um, Harry has earned the right to visit that country. This is a stain on the Queen's legacy, one of many stains. And as a stain, it may be unsustainable for the royal family to carry on. This is embarrassing. This is absolutely embarrassing. And I will be curious to know how the American news outlets handle this revelation from Prince Harry because it's Sunday, so expect to see it on the morning news shows and other places. Of course, by the time it gets washed down to the entertainment shows, it's going to look like something completely different. But see what I mean? Would you mess with her? Would you would you go after her? Because I wouldn't. I wouldn't have the courage. I my knees would just collapse on sight. I couldn't. I wouldn't mess with her. But uh ooh, she got some knuckle dusters in her pocket. She carries brass knuckles. So if you're gonna come after her, you better be quick because that's a face that would stop a truck or a lorry, respectfully. But anyway, let's not lose sight of what we're talking about. Um, a matter of fact, let me just take a couple of your comments. Try not to stare directly at her, lest she should jump out the screen on you. Let me just take her down. Okay, take her down. That sounds redundant. I mean, who could do that? Take her down. I don't have enough courage. Okay, so let's look at some of these comments. Dorothy Ross, I see you have the Afro Annie meme or emoji. Okay. Comment Joseph Bruno. Let's see what you have to say. Okay, there we go. A little lag on that, but there it is now. I believe the men in gray suits are really holding the Queen's puppet strings behind the scenes is getting like Weekend at Bernie's. Isn't it though? Isn't it though? It just seems so bizarre that and when I first realized this is when somebody told me I thought that the Cambridges were using the Queen's helicopter. I did not realize that the Queen purchased them their own helicopter. And I'm just like, I think that the Queen of 10, 20 years ago wouldn't have done something like that. But somehow he managed to coerce her into purchasing a helicopter. And because he's a future king, the idea of anybody in a gray suit trying to talk her out of this was almost impossible if they even tried. Are terrified that Harry and Meghan will come to the UK and be greeted with loving crowds wherever they go. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? You know that's what's going to happen. You know that's what's going to happen. And my new policy of no trips to the UK, I may have to purchase a flight so that I could be there to greet them. It wouldn't be beyond me to do that. If I could throw two nickels together, I would get on the next flight so that I can make sure that I was there to greet them. Word on the street is that some young men have complained about. Oh, I'm not surprised about that. I'm not the least bit surprised about that. You know, anybody who's as loud and boisterous as he is, you can only imagine what's going on behind the scenes. I'll just say that. It wouldn't surprise me in the least bit because of how boisterous and how incredibly outraged he is all the time. That's like a billboard. That's almost just like having a billboard. So yeah, it shouldn't surprise me. It really shouldn't because of the power that he has from his position. No pun intended. But the power he has from his position, that's easy to figure out is that he's probably, you know, throwing stones and living in a glass house. So let's see. Can be answered or why have paid work any only question to be answered are why does Andy still have paid security? Um, you know, because he is still an HRH. They didn't take that away from him. He just can't use it. But he's still a HRH and he's still entitled to security. And he probably has a lot of enemies that we don't know about. But, you know, inside the royal household, that's a HRH all day long. And as for those honorary titles that were taken away, that's virtually meaningless. I mean, have you seen the way those uniforms fit lately? I mean, he is just like one trip to Pizza Express away from disaster. One more slice of Pizza Express, even though he's probably never been there, but one more slice of Pizza Express, and he is going to just gnaw his way out of any of his uniforms. Why y'all getting me started? Why? I'm sitting up here minding my own business, and you all got me being messy this early on a Sunday. You ought to be ashamed, all of you. Okay, I'm sorry. I read that. I need to scroll here. The rodents read the statement just like the Daily Fail writer and Palmer. He's pretending that Harry is looking for free protection. Great point, Vinny. Absolutely great point. They make it seem as though he's got his hand out asking for a freebie, which is why deliberately, um, let's see, no, not that one. Where is he at? I'm looking for Wooten Tootin. There he is, which is why they deliberately worded this statement to make it seem like he's asking. What they want you to do is just read Netflix, Spotify, banks. Netflix, Spotify, banks. All the rest of that stuff, you're supposed to ignore it or gloss over it. Not the fact that he can pay for his own security. And of course, Wooten Tootin is pretending to be outraged by everything that he said. He doesn't really care. He doesn't really care. He is just some gossiping old queen that loves to be in the middle of all the controversy. That's what Dan Wooten is just some gossiping old queen. So sometimes it's hard to tell one queen from the other. That's the problem that's happening here. Um, okay. uh, there's so much there to unpack. Yeah, it is crack me up, love. It really is. It's a stain on the Queen's record. It's a stain. Yeah, Prince Harry has had a lot of things to cause him stress. Fortunately, he has a family to support him, his own family, not, hanging around with the Cambridges and others, but he has his own family to support him. So I think he's going to weather this storm just fine. And I'm pretty sure that Harry has not intentionally embarrassed Gangsta Gangan, but it is the institution that brought this embarrassment and stain upon her record. Yeah, it is time for them to stand up to the tabloids. But from what I'm to understand, I mean, I don't live there, but they say people take these tabloid stories as the gospel. Um, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I could see that because those kids are being used like pawns. Those kids are being, in my opinion, excuse me, in my opinion, those kids are having the unfortunate experience of being exposed to the public in the worst possible way just to save the monarchy. Because the two people that are supposed to be the future of the monarchy are virtually useless. They're as dull as dishwater, not particularly bright, not particularly talented, and lazy. Those are two of the laziest people this side of creation. Lazy, lazy. Do little Duchess and Workshire Will. Lazy individuals. They're not into what they're doing. They're doing it out of habit and out of obligation. But there's no way in the world that they are interested in that work. I don't see it. I don't believe it. Uh, yeah, yeah. He always says when he goes back to London that he feels triggered. Even he would leave a theater of war to return to London and become physically ill at the idea of the plane landing. Dogwood. Yeah, because he's not really British, because he's from someplace much further south, he needs to try to outdo them all with his loyalty to the crown. Um, and wanted to pay for his own metro officers like others are. Prince Harry and his own security, but they cannot protect him without weapons. Absolutely. I mean, if it's one thing I'm sure Harry has learned from living in the Los Angeles area, it takes some heavy iron to feel safe in this country. And if you're threatened over there, you would probably feel equally secure. Um, yeah, yeah. Yeah, at this point, I would lean on Anne before I would deal with the rest of them. I think that Anne is at least pragmatic. But yeah, the way I'm feeling, I'd take on Anne. uh, okay, okay. Let me keep moving here. The Royals don't know. Let me see. They don't see it as embarrassing. That's norm. Yeah, yeah, you're right, Miss P. You're right. They don't see it as embarrassing because they think everybody's so busy looking up at them that they just look down on everybody else and don't really care about other people's opinions. Oh, welcome, Dorothy Ross, rather. Welcome, Dorothy Ross. Welcome to your membership. I appreciate that. Okay. I believe the men in gray suits. Oh, okay. Let me scroll. I think oh my goodness, I have so much here. Okay. Look at what Andrew did. Uh, let me see. Security bully and Willie just hates his brother for marrying Meghan. Probably 20 years, but the crown. Yeah, well, you know what? The new season of the crown, I don't think the crown really exposes enough of that family. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Myra. The stain is Right now, everybody's giving her a free pass since they have weaponized her age. But at some point, after a period of mourning, I believe that there will be a lot of truths that are exposed, if that is a word, truths that are exposed. Once Gangan has gone to her glory. Long-term strategy. If this security isn't resolved, Sussex will never go back. Uh, yeah, yeah, and I'm so glad you said that because I had some other things that I wanted to share with you. I hope I brought up the right. Well, okay, this person right here. Um, these two comments were in response to Dan Wooten. Coming soon, Wooten has a massive rant about Harry not visiting poor, frail, grieving Granny because he is not allowed to pay for his own security. This was on Twitter. As you see, I blocked the names. And Prince Harry is still a prince. He didn't say he wouldn't pay for his own. He said he would pay for extra security that is needed. If the UK can pay for former Prime Minister and Andrew, then they can pay for Harry's security. Yep, absolutely. So this is a couple of comments that I got from the Twitter today. Okay, so let me get rid of that. And let me see, what is this one? Oh yeah, so right here. This is dated. Let me see, Harry one. Okay, so this is from sometimes last year. I didn't actually see the date on it. This is one of the stories that I'm gonna credit to Twitter because as I went through critter, not critter, Twitter. As I went through critter, when I said critter, you know who I was thinking about, right? Dan Wooten. Anyway, as I went through critter or Twitter and saw Dan Wooten, I Lord have mercy. Here we go. Anyway, Harry and Meghan will come back to UK to be part of official Queen's Jubilee celebration. If you notice, there hasn't been a lot of talk about the Sussexes returning. I wonder if some of the calls from with inside the house has alerted people in the media, oh, don't worry about it. They're not coming because we're not going to pay for their security and we're not going to let them pay for the security. Doesn't it make you wonder why suddenly that the whole, remember, we thought that it was going to be the lead up to the Jubilee for months and months and months. Will they come or won't they come? Now it seems to be evident that they are not welcome to come because nobody is going to see to it that they are safe to return to the UK. That's just my thought. I'm trying to work this out as I go along, but what is the real story here? Because I thought that there would be nonstop, back to back daily updates about will they or won't they return. If you remember the lead up to the statue, that went on for what, a year? How come they don't really ever talk about the return for the Jubilee? There's two things they don't talk about. They don't talk about the Queen absence from public duty. That's brushed or glossed over. And they also don't talk about the Sussexes returning for the Jubilee. They really don't even speak about a christening anymore either. It's as though the tabloid press seems to know that none of this is likely to happen anyway because we're going to make sure they don't feel safe enough to return. That's what I think. And absent the truth, I don't know what else to believe. But what else could there possibly be unless they know that they're not likely to return based on some private talks that somehow has suddenly become leaked and in the public domain thanks to somebody within one of the various households, most likely the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. Lot to unpack. I can't really say I know any of that for sure, but I just think it's very curious, the timing. And as they said in the statement, because of the serendipitous timing of the leak, it is 2022. And because the Sussexes will be in The Hague, I'm pretty sure if they make one trip across the pond, they would like to take care as much as possible, like, say, a christening or seeing Gangsta Gan Gan. right? For the Invictus game. But I believe this leak was put out there to let them know, when you make out your itinerary, do not include the United Kingdom because you're not welcome to come. And the Queen, of course, shall remain silent on this, among other things. So it just makes you wonder who's actually in control of things over there. We haven't seen the Queen, we haven't seen her standing since October, and her legacy is going to reflect on this guy and, of course, the way the Sussexes have been treated. Yeah, it's going to be a reflection on the way this guy has managed to evade justice for a long time. And, of course, the way the Sussexes have been mistreated by not only by the British tabloid press, but by the royal households, by the royal family. They have been thrown under the bus because they decided that they would choose freedom rather than suffer under the weight of this monster. Could you imagine the future for Harry? Could you imagine our Duchess of Sussex having to suffer from the whims of someone who is obviously unstable, who's always spoken of as being incandescent with rage? They can't write a story about him without him being at the tipping point or about to combust. Incandescent with rage. That's his legacy. So, Lucy Wynn, what are you saying? There's only how many likes? That doesn't seem right. Huh? Oh, yeah. Okay, that's not the one. But yeah, I just saw that out the corner of my eye. Lucy Wynn says, please hit that like button, you guys. Please. Amanda Baker is a troll. Is that right? Harry is still a HRH. You're absolutely right. Harry is still an HRH, and so is the Duchess of Sussex. And the people, if you're on Royal Sussex, and it's your opinion that they stepped away from royal duty and therefore they have no titles, they have no rank, they have no position in the family, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. Stepping back is the language that was used. There was no renouncement of titles or any of that stuff. They stepped back from royal duty. Um, because she never turns Harry down. Yeah, but remember when Harry wanted to see the Queen before the summit, the Sandringham summit, when Harry told Oprah that the Queen said, "Come and see me when you return to the UK, and we'll talk." And then when Harry lands in the UK, his assistant told him, "Oh, we just got a message. The Queen will not be able to see you. There was something in her diary, and she's going to be busy all week." All week. That was around the time well, I can't tell you when I started weeping during the Oprah Winfrey interview, but it was very, very painful to watch. Very painful to watch. And I'm not embarrassed to say it really affected me. She's going to be busy. Could you imagine your own grandmother telling you, "Oh, I have something in my diary. I just realized I'm going to be busy all week." Let that settle in. Let that settle in. One of the most powerful people in the world, and reportedly one of the most admired people in the world, um, she cannot see Harry because there's something in her diary. And so a 5-minute conversation is out of the question, simply out of the question. That is her legacy. That is her legacy. And right now, everybody's being very sympathetic, but hear my voice when I say this. At some point, when picking on the Sussexes has gotten way too old, at some point when talking about Andrew has lost all of his, I guess, thrill, there's going to be something left to talk about, and that's the actual function of the Queen's royal household. That is the future. Whether it's 2 years, 10 years, or a certain respectable amount of time after she has gone to join Philip, but that's going to be her legacy. And the younger people in the UK, they're going to start asking that question in bigger and greater numbers. What is the point of them? What do they actually do? What do they do? What purpose do they serve? Now, one of those royal authors, biographers, I remember he was on one of the morning shows. I can't remember his name, but he was on one of those morning shows over there. And he said that, well, that's what the Queen is here for. She steadies the hand of the nation. She steadies the nerves of the nation in times of strife and trouble. She steadies the hand of the nation. Yeah, like how about when there was Black Lives Matter? We had to find out through somebody who knew somebody who thought they overheard somebody say that the Queen is interested in Black Lives Matter. Not that she directly put out a statement, but somebody overheard, that somebody knew, that somebody possibly picked up somewhere that the Queen is for Black Lives Matter. Interesting, isn't it? Interesting. So, what does that say to you? What does that say to you? Well, it is true that she once danced with an African in Africa in order to, you know, show that she was in it to win it. So I'm sure she's capable of having the conversation, but that's vastly different from a statement saying that the Queen is for Black Lives Matter, or that the Queen is actually, well, whatever. Who cares? Let me get this picture off of here, because none of it is true. None of it. None of it is true. So let me go to your well, let me see. I did that one. I'm not ready for that. So let me get rid of a couple of things so I can bring back a couple of things. Which one? Okay, so Prince Harry's full statement, as he explains real reason why Meghan and their kids haven't been to the UK. Now, this was in the Birmingham Live, or Birmingham, or whatever. Um, this was in the Birmingham. I don't know what kind of reputation that news group has, but this was their headline. This is one of the many things that has been popping up all day. Prince Harry has revealed that the real reason his wife Meghan and their two children have not been to the UK since they walked away from their royal life in 2019. The Duke of Sussex believes his family do not have enough security and protection while here, and has filed a claim for judicial review against the Home Office decision not to allow him to pay for police protection while in the UK. In a statement issued by his legal team, Harry said his security was compromised last summer when he returned to the country to unveil a statue of his mother, Princess Diana, at Kensington Palace, which is probably the least safe place for him in this entire world. Harry's arguing his private protection team in the U.S. does not have adequate jurisdiction abroad or access to the UK intelligence information, which is needed to keep his family safe. The Duke has returned to the UK twice in the last 2 years. He flew back to the funeral of his grandfather, Prince Philip, in April, and then joined his brother, Prince William, to unveil a statue of his late mother in July of last year. But Meghan, Archie, and Lilibeth have not been with him. Okay, so that was in the Birmingham. So this is a big story. This is huge. I'm sure that they're going to try to find a million ways to downplay the seriousness of this story. Well, good luck with that, because the squatties are going to keep all the receipts necessary. Okay, you guys, I'm sure I missed some really interesting stuff, but I had like probably 50 comments piled up, so I have to go to the end because I can't. Oh, well, thank you for that information. Um, the royal family and the British tabloids are incandescent with rage because Prince Harry reminds them of Princess Diana. You said a mouthful right there. That is so true. That is so true. Was that during the Oprah interview, Susie Q? Because I was shell shocked. I literally just sat there when it was off. I sat there trying to collect my thoughts. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible to know what they had been have experienced with that family. Yeah. What is that? You're totally wrong. Where were you when they done the Oprah show and they have not been treated badly? Shame on them. I don't get that one. I'm not even going to bother with that. I don't understand what you're saying, but try it again because I'm not sure what you're saying. Uh, Only Harry and Meghan, really? Well, let's see. Let me go to a couple more. Joan, let me see. Having to make an appointment with your grandmother, not the queen. Yeah, that. Oh gosh, I cannot unhear that, Joan. I could not unhear it. I hear it just like Harry just whispered in my ear minutes ago. I cannot unhear it. I can. There's no way for me to not hear that. It's in there now. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I never thought anytime in my life, I never thought I would feel the type of disappointment that I feel right now. I never thought I would experience that. I drank the Kool-Aid. I'll just admit it. I drank the Kool-Aid, and while I was casually, I guess, um, involved with royal things, it was only because of Princess Diana. It took so long for me to realize the minute I started watching the royal family, the minute I started paying attention to them, was because of Princess Diana. No other reason. Princess Diana brought at least a billion people into that realm of fantasy of the royal family. Princess Diana, the weight of Diana is what brought so many people to the royal family. And I believe that the disappointment of these two, right? That disappointment, along with that of the queen. The queen is what's going to drive so many people away. It's hard to believe because she is so frail and she's almost 100 years old. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because all of these things that are done in her name, including the British courts, everything is in her name. And so when there's an embarrassment to the family, when there's a shock like they won't pay for the security of the Sussexes, that's in the Queen's name. We can't pick and choose when things are the responsibility of the sovereign because anytime they're trying to big up the royal family, they make it seem like the queen is in complete control. Oh, they had the Sandringham Summit. The queen summoned them to the Sandringham Summit. Well, if either she's in control or she's not. I don't think that I'm unfair to say this because it is in her name. And if it's not, then put it in somebody else's name. Then say it's Charles, say it's William. But when it's convenient, the Queen was very decisive. The Queen is so decisive, and she was in command of the situation. But when it's not convenient, oh, the Queen is 95 and Philip just died. Can't have it both ways. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that, Lydia. Are not welcome. Yeah, Susie. Wouldn't it be interesting if this has some type of repercussions for their visit to the USA? Wouldn't that be interesting to see if there's some type of, I guess, response in equal measure to them being unwelcome? Although, when they do come here, they'll have Secret Service protection without any question. And so maybe it's a good thing that this has come out at the time that it has come out. So when they do arrive, we as the Sussex squad will have to point out, hey, you have Secret Service protection for the Cambridges, but you wouldn't let Harry pay for his own protection. This is absolutely messy. This is absolutely messy. I take no pleasure in this conversation. This is absolutely messy, and it looks bad for Betty. It looks bad for her because it doesn't give equal protection to the Sussexes. Really, it's not a good look. It looks terrible for the Queen, and they are setting the Queen's legacy up for failure. They are setting her up for failure. But don't despair, because I got a little bit more that I want to share too. Hold on one second. My sinuses, as usual. Well, that I have to wait. But let's see. I got that. Okay, not that one. Oh, there was one more I wanted to share. Okay, this one. Okay, I'll do. Okay, sorry, had my sinuses. Harry and Meghan are coming to the UK for Elizabeth's christening, and there are going to be fireworks. Now, this was in the Independent. This was dated in September. And look whose name is right there. Hoghead Piers Morgan is ready to stage a meltdown. Hoghead. It makes me wonder, since Hoghead was making those veiled threats to shock and awe us with some revelations about the Duchess of Sussex. When was that? Last week? I wonder if it's possible that Hoghead Morgan could have possibly have known that this leak was coming out. I doubt it, because who on God's green earth ever speaks to him? Nobody, I bet. But somehow somebody wanted to leak the information about this entire subject of Harry and the children being unable to visit the United Kingdom. Somebody decided that it was time to leak that information. At some point, it was time for the calls to come from inside the house. It was that time. It was timed perfectly. This is 2022. The Sussexes are ramping up for a tremendous year of public service. And in order to cloud any type of, I guess, positive news stories or headlines for them, in order to cloud their activity, they decided now is the time to expose this story about Harry. And the story doesn't make Harry look bad. That's what's so ridiculous about it. This story this is a win-win for the Duke of Sussex. It doesn't make him look bad. What it does is it makes his grandmother look bad. It makes his grandmother look bad. And it makes Prince Charles looks bad. And unfortunately, none of this is probably going to wash down to William. William will escape unscathed from this whole escapade of the Sussexes being refused. And essentially, I'm just going to say it, they are being refused entry into the United Kingdom. That's the equivalent of what's happened when they wouldn't allow Harry to pay for his security. They are being refused the entry into Harry's birthplace. You could come, but don't bring your family. Isn't that what they've been telling him that for the longest? You're welcome to come back, but don't bring that woman of African American descent with you. This has been a long-standing narrative ever since Harry first stepped back from royal duty, is the idea that he's welcome to return, but don't bring your wife. Don't bring your wife. She's not welcome. You are. But don't bring that woman, that Markle woman. Don't bring her with you. None of the stuff with Thomas Markle and the rest of the family would have been a big story if it wasn't for the tabloids and the leaks from inside of Kensington Palace. But this guy, I tell you, when London Bridge falls down, he's going to do the same thing he did when his father died. Remember how he almost pushed a few people over to get to the camera? Remember that? After this interview, we didn't hear from him for a long time. We didn't hear from him for a long time. But when Philip died, he almost knocked over a couple of camera people and a few of his own relatives so that he could make sure that he was able to get in front of the camera to express his heartache and accept the condolences of the British people. He was hoping he was hoping that that was his way back to public service so that he can get back with some of those people that helped him buy that Swiss chalet, allegedly. But it backfired. It backfired. Instead, he's going to have to do what he's been doing for a while, and that is secretly running his hand through that patent leather handbag of the Queen's to get his legal fees paid for and to pay for his lifestyle, like that new Bentley. Who in the world purchased a brand new Bentley for him? Remember that? You guys know he just got a new, what was it, a $500,000 car? How many pounds is that? He has a new vehicle. This is a person who can't even go anywhere, but when he's driving around the Windsor estate, he's riding around in a brand new Bentley. Good God, the comments are going fast. I just noticed that. Are you guys are you guys drinking like shots of espresso? I mean, that was going fast. I got a little dizzy looking at it. But yeah, it is a shame. It is humiliating and it's embarrassing for the Queen. Let's see what you say here. I've been talking too much. Margaret Jones, why would they leak to the Fail? Who was it the Fail that first got the story? I didn't know that. Um, I've been trying to figure that out because I didn't want to look at the Fail, but who how did the leak get out? And that's why Harry's statement said that they needed to share this statement at this time because of the serendipitous nature or timing of the leak. Exactly. If Harry is irrelevant, then why did they have to go through the embassy to contact him? Exactly, because they don't care about him. He has been cut off, his own brother. And just remember all of that big fuss about, oh, they only have each other. They only have each other. Well, apparently Harry has his back, but he doesn't care about Harry. William doesn't care about Harry. William he's had that head of his pumped up for so many years that he is ordained by God to be a future king of that country. I mean, his head has been jacked and pumped up so much, all of the hair has come off the top. They have been pumping his head so much that he has literally pushed the follicles out of his skin, and now he's left looking like some old fisherman out in the back country somewhere. But one person who's not convinced, I'll tell you who's not convinced. There's nothing in the world that will convince Jazz Hands that she's ready for the throne. Nothing in the world is going to ever convince her that she's ready. That's why she has that nervous tick where she can't stop moving those fussy hands around. That's why she has that nervous tick where she can't stop a grinning and grinning and grinning because she's not ready. And the truth is, he's not ready either. But the problem is, William believes he's ready, but Kate knows that once that transition happens, she is going to be open and exposed, and there is nothing the air hostess will be able to do to help her. The air hostess is going to be so busy trying to secure her position that she won't be able to help her daughter. So, um, this is like a real chaotic situation, and it's embarrassing to the queen. And I cannot get over it. This is something, this hit last night, right? Last night, we're all sitting up there minding our business, ain't bothering nobody, ain't doing nothing to nobody. And then all of a sudden, we all look like this is how I was looking. Maybe I didn't have as many chins. Maybe my lips look better. And maybe you couldn't see the iris or the pupils of my eyes, but this is how shocked I was last night. I was shocked. When I saw that statement from Prince Harry, I was absolutely shocked. There was no way to prepare me for that statement. So, um, yeah, it was like somebody just like, it was like some incendiary device that went off, and all of a sudden, what? They won't pay for Harry's security? This is outrageous. Outrageous. And here they made this big deal. I was listening to Celibacy earlier today. If you're not familiar with that channel, Celibacy, they spoke about the portraits of Kate and how she looked like some type of Victorian ghost, and that some of the photos did not look like Kate. After this big rollout to try to big Kate up, um, while all of this was happening, somebody decided that it was time to make sure that we uplift Kate and that somehow we prevent the Sussexes from returning to the United Kingdom. And as someone commented earlier, there is this complete panic over the idea that they're going to find out exactly how popular that the Sussexes are, and that they know, well, the people within the royal households, they already get the popularity of the Sussexes. But the thing is, they don't want any positive headlines or news reports. And whenever the Sussexes go over to the United Kingdom, that the American news outlets are going to follow them over there. They're not just going to allow the Sussexes to leave California without American reporters in tow. And it's not, and believe me, the Sussexes are going to make sure that when they do visit the United Kingdom, they're not going to talk to tabloid reporters. They're going to speak to independent news agencies and reporters and people who have fair and balanced reporting on the social media. They're not going to speak to people who looks at a photo like this and say, "Oh yeah, this is okay." You notice how quiet they were about Kate's photos? Oh my goodness, 1,000 people are watching? 1,000? This is insane. I just noticed that there's 1,000 people watching. Welcome to the live chat. But people looked at this photo and they thought that this was It doesn't even look like Kate. I don't know who that is, but that's not Kate. That's not Kate. The reason why I know that isn't Kate is because look at that. This is Kate's fantasy shot, right? And this is the real Kate. Her mouth doesn't line up. She's been smiling so much that her mouth is out of alignment. So how could that be Kate? How could that be Kate if her jaws are in perfect alignment? Because this girl has been grinning and grinning so much that her jaw is misaligned. That's not Kate. This is smoke and mirrors. This is somebody using some type of filter. And this is not Kate. This is the ghost of Queen Victoria Pass. That's not Kate. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that imposter is. But apparently, this was some type of, they said it was some type of like Italian fashion reporter that, not reporter, but fashion photographer that took these jarring photos of the Duchess of Cambridge. Now, if this is my theory, this is my theory. This is probably why. See, what's his name in the background there that just married into the family? See how he's looking away? I wonder if he's the one who suggested the photographer. I'm not saying that because he's Italian or anything. Yes, I am. I am saying it because he's Italian. Obviously, he's the one who suggested the photographer to the Cambridges. And when the Cambridges thought, oh, okay, Italian fashion photographer, why don't we? Oh, ooh, oh, that doesn't even look like Kate. That and that puffy, oh, well, I don't know what they were thinking. And do you know that they took over 300 photos? They took over 300 photos. It took 300 photos to straighten out her mouth. It took 300 photos to stop her from grinning. It took 300 photos to get this that doesn't even look like her. You know what? I wouldn't have told nobody that. I wouldn't even told nobody that. If it would have took me 300 photos to come up with this look, I'd have kept that to myself. I would have said, oh, I was just passing by and somebody clicked the camera. There's no way in the world that I would tell people that this is the result of 300 photos. And here's my other theory. They put pockets in this gown because without those pockets, you know what would have happened, right? You know what would have happened. If she didn't have those pockets, it would have been jazz hands. It would have been jazz hands all over the place. So they gave her pockets with duct tape in them or some type of sticky double-sided tape so she wouldn't pull them hands out and get to waving them all over the place. That's why that gown has pockets so that she wouldn't either start doing the jazz hands or to prevent her from embarrassing herself by doing her interpretation of Phantom of the Opera. That's why that gown has pockets, to save her dignity. And you have to be careful because they say jazz hands is contagious. See, he was sitting there looking at her doing the jazz hands, and the next you know, he started doing it. So be careful. Do not catch jazz hands because it is contagious. It is contagious. Okay, that's shady of me. Okay, did you say 300 photos and still look like a mannequin? I think that's what you said. Um, y'all are just messy. You all are just messy. For those of you who just joined us, we are speaking of the legacy of Betty and how this family has ruined her reputation. Because she was so involved as a parent, she has raised someone with, I would dare say, a mental illness who also raised someone who is equally mentally ill. There he is, equally mentally ill. And this is that generational pain that the Duke of Sussex spoke about. Fortunately, thanks to his incredible wife, the Duchess of Sussex, he was able to escape that generational pain, right? But he didn't do it by himself. One of the things that helped him escape that family is the fact that his mother, who we owe so much thanks to, instilled him with a certain amount of independence away from that family. As she said, he's a Spencer. You can have that other one, but Harry is a Spencer. He's a Spencer first. And wasn't she right? And the other reason why this has worked out is because of Doria, our other queen. Queen Doria and Queen Diana are the reasons why the Sussexes are successful. So, you guys, don't worry about Harry and Meghan. They are going to do just fine. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have so many things going for them that their family does not. There are no leaks out of Montecito. Wherever those leaks about Harry negotiating to get security from his family, it did not originate in Montecito. It started in Narnia. It started with, I'm going to say, this is just my guess, but it started with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, and then somehow it washed down to phone calls coming out of the house. That's how that happened. But it did not start with anybody in Montecito. So nobody is above the law. This is true. And thank goodness it's an American court that is going to finally see justice. Any form of justice, we'll take what we can get. The other thing is the Sussex squad with their receipts. The Sussex squad and their receipts do not dismiss or downplay the effectiveness of the Sussex squad. All of us collectively have been crying out foul. We have been crying out the injustices of what happened to the Sussexes. And all of that is going to wash down to what may be a end of the royal family as we know it. Now, the British royal family, they're always going to be around. They're always going to have wealth. They will always have privilege. But the younger generations are looking at this. The younger generations are going to see all of those documentaries that will come after the queen is gone. And they're going to wonder, why in the world are we still supporting that family? Why in the world do they have taxpayer funded helicopters? Why do they have taxpayer private jets? Why does everybody in that family live in a house with more rooms than they could ever use in a year? That's going to be the big questions in the future. And why did he go to that earshot looking like a bottle of Mitchum roll-on deodorant? That's another question. We still haven't figured this out. There's so many things we haven't figured out. Why did she talk with her hands? Why did he go there looking like Mitchum roll-on? Why? There's so many questions. I need answers. Why did she pretend like she was sitting there at the concert, the Royal Carol, named after her mother, the air hostess? Why did she jump out of her seat or pretend like she did so that she could record a video wearing the same outfit as though somebody asked her, is there a piano player in the house? Why? It's a bunch of smoke and mirrors, but I'm going to tell you why. All of it is because they find these two people incredibly threatening. The Sussexes are a threat to their dignity, to their position, because the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, with their charisma, with their personable approach to people, with their hands-on touch with people, that they're very tactile with each other and with people in the public. And because they are so good at what they can do, as royals. I mean, this is the real royal couple. This is what royalty should be. All that stiff upper lip and stuff like that. You know what? The Sussexes are still winning. They're still winning. They say you shouldn't compete where you can't compare, or is it you don't compare where you can't compete? Whatever it is, the Sussexes are winning. The Cambridges are not winning. The Cambridges are woefully inadequate. The Cambridges don't care about each other. They don't care about their job. I don't even think they care about that throne, but this is a real royal family. This is what royalty should be in 2022. Not the other brand of royalty. It's outdated. Harry paid for his own security, and he paid for this house that he doesn't even own. How many times does Harry have to pay? How many times does Harry have to pay? Do you think that anybody is going to forget that Harry, and you know why they won't forget? Because of the Sussex squad. Nobody is going to forget that Harry paid for a house that he does not own. Nobody is going to forget that Harry wanted to pay for security that he's entitled to by birth. It's part of his birthright. That security is part of his birthright. And he offered to pay for it. And they said, what? Your money is no good here. Your money is no good here. We will rather the public pay for Andrew, but we won't let you pay for your own security. Betty, what's going on, Betty? Can we talk about this? Can we talk about this? None of it makes sense. Make it make sense. Please make it make sense. But it doesn't. So let me go to your comments. Oh, the microphone was muted. Sorry about that. There was a time when Andrew was actually trying to make money, which I think is why he got in. Well, not the only reason, but that's one of the reasons why he got into an association with that person who lost his life in prison through whatever means, because he was trying to make money to sustain his lifestyle. So there's that to consider. And then also, let's think about this. There was so many times that Sarah Tosuck Ferguson, using her title as Duchess of York, she's written children books, she has sold biscuits, she's done all types of things to try to reassure people that you're getting good products if you just purchase things made under my name, the Duchess of York. So when she wrote a children's book, it was Sarah, Duchess of York. And when Meghan wrote a book and used her title and her name as she's entitled to by marriage, they wanted to make a big deal out of that. But the HRH cannot be used for purposes of commerce or trade. So she didn't. But she's more than entitled to use the title Duchess of Sussex. That's her right. She's okay to do that. Whatever they say, there's no reason why she cannot use Duchess of Sussex. Needs to be in. Yeah, B10, they're trying to derail him. They're trying to create enough insecurity that he won't show up. And least of all, they don't want the kids there. They do not want those children in the UK. Excuse me, I just had a drink of water. But they don't want those kids in the UK. They do not want that photo op. Um Yeah, I my sinuses, Connie, and I when I cleared my sinuses, I was just like, "Oh, I'm still muted." Okay. Yeah, with B10, it's a great question. Where is Lizzie? Where is Lizzie? We have not seen her. The last time we saw Lizzie, she was walking with a stick. And remember, let's not forget, they lied and said that the Queen was seen driving around the Windsor estate. But those were stock images. And how did we discover that that was a lie? Because of the Sussex squad. It was the squatties who pointed out on Twitter that those images of the Queen riding around the Windsor estate in the Range Rover were stock photos that were at least a year old, if not older. Y'all remember that? Those were stock images. That was not the Queen driving around the Windsor estate. They looked absolutely identical to photos that were taken rather long before those images were released. The Queen has not driven herself anywhere. The Queen has stopped riding her horses. Well, she should. I mean, given her advanced age, she shouldn't do those things. But they lied to us. So it's not impossible to believe that the Queen is somehow incapacitated and they're just not telling us. And while she's unable or unwilling to make decisions on her own, and I don't blame her for giving Charles more authority because God knows he's been waiting long enough. But that being said, the Queen has not been seen in a long time. So we don't know what her status is. We don't know who's making decisions. All we know that is that decisions have been made on her behalf and in her name, and that is absolutely disturbing. So it's really hard to say exactly what the motivations are or who's calling the shots, but somehow some way the Queen is said to matter of fact, I have them right here. I have the big lie that was exposed right here. Look at that. See that? I keep receipts. And by the way, where are you there? Thank you for your membership. Crack me up. Thank you so much. But look at this photo. Look at that. The Queen spotted driving around Sandringham Estate for the first time. Really? This is not the Queen driving on that particular date. It was not. That was not the Queen. And the photos, that is the photo in the Queen, should I say, but the Queen was not driving on said date. That did not happen. Here's another one. Now that's look at the dates there. Look at that. July 19th, 2021. Same photo. September 9th, 2021. Duh. Duh. Huh? Notice anything there? Did you get all that? It's really interesting that the Queen has been spotted driving around Windsor. The monarch, wearing sunglasses and headscarf, was alone in her Jaguar as she went for a drive. Hello. So again, we have not seen the Queen standing since October. I believe it was October. She hasn't been seen standing. Now there was the pre-recorded Christmas address where she was firmly seated and looking incredibly frail. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying is that if those are um, inconsistencies, if these are inconsistencies, then this whole thing that's happening to Harry right now, I don't want to blame the Queen for anything that she's not responsible for, but somebody is making decisions in the Queen's name, and it is going to have a detrimental effect on her legacy. That is true. It is going to have a devastating effect on the Queen's legacy. This right here was absolutely clumsy, and it was the tabloids that tried to hoodwink us with this idea that the Queen was spotted driving around the Sandringham estate or the Windsor estate. Did not happen. It did not happen. These are dated photos. So again, who's in charge? Who's in control? Let's see. Yeah, I know. What could I say, Lavender Rose? I'm like the Rodney Dangerfield of Sussex Squad. I get no respect. Let me see. Cookies and cream. The unroyal family doesn't see Meghan as a human being with feelings. They see Meghan as the children and the children as inferior. They will never accept this part of the family. Yeah. Remember, Che Guevara was propped him up. The photo. Yeah, yeah. They said that Che. Yeah, when he was. Yeah, I see what you mean. I don't want to say it out loud, but yes. Right, Michelle Harris. Exactly. That's the whole point I'm making here. That's the whole point I'm making here is when it's convenient, the Queen was decisive, the Queen was very forward, the Queen was determined, but when it's not convenient for her, then the Queen was sitting alone in the pews while the number 10 Downing Street was doing a conga line. Hey, Yvonne Clark, did you just join us? Yeah, something bigger than we think Harry's alone. Yeah, yeah. How embarrassing for Harry that he's not able to bring his family to his birthplace. He's not able to bring his family to the house that he paid for, that he could never own, that was a gift to him. There's so many layers there. My head is spinning when I try to describe this situation. But let's start it off. He was driven out of Kensington Palace. The whole family had to flee Kensington Palace. And why did they have to flee Kensington Palace? Because his brother was incandescent with rage, right? Okay. Part two, they rushed to prepare Frogmore House, which is a collection of apartments that were remodeled to be a family home. All of the alleged asbestos was removed so that they could bring their new baby home to their household. Now, out of all the people in the royal family, these were the only two people that were given servants' quarters to live in. They were given the servants' quarters, lest they should ever cast their shadow upon Prince William's footsteps, right? And then the next thing is months and months and months of a pregnant Duchess of Sussex barraged with horrible headlines accusing her of building a yoga studio, accusing her mother of moving in, accusing them of putting in a carpet bathtub at the taxpayers' expense. That was untrue. The Sussexes paid for their custom interior. The renovation of the house was already predetermined in the sovereign grant. Am I correct so far? And then After the birth of the baby, with the continued assaults and attacks, like for instance, we didn't know when the baby was born. Well, okay, nobody's threatening your children, but baby Archie was threatened practically before he was conceived. There were threats on the Sussexes, and then after his birth, he was compared to a primate. Are y'all with me so far? Baby Archie was compared to a primate. So obviously, the Sussexes did not and could not feel safe in that country. What about the lie that the Sussexes told people, if anybody comes up to us, tell them not to speak or attempt to pet our dog? That was a lie. That was somebody else who lives in a grace and favor or wherever who suggested that. It did not come from the Sussexes. They had no knowledge of it. And so those lies continued for months and months and months. The Duchess of Sussex was not seen for 4 to 5 months, except for maybe on 2 occasions, up until the point where they finally decided we have to leave the United Kingdom. And then once they left the United Kingdom, Harry and Meghan were able to secure enough wealth to protect their family and find a secure home so that they can be safe after having their security stripped, after being financially cut off by Prince Charles. After all that happened, they are finally home safe. So what does Harry do? He goes back to the UK and gives them a check for what, $3 million to pay for a house that was supposed to be a gift that they paid to remodel, partially paid to remodel, that is supposed to belong to them. But because of the unnecessary public scrutiny, Harry decided the best way to move forward is to just pay the $3 million. Here's a check that was used to balance the books for the royal household due to the lack of tourism because of the global pandemic. All of this happened, and yet Harry offers to pay for security to return to that house that he doesn't own, that he did pay for, that belongs to the Crown Estate, that was a gift to him. Okay? He offered to pay for his own security, and with all that has been said and done, they said no. After everything that they've been through, they refuse to make him feel safe in his home that he doesn't own, but he did pay for with his family. Did anybody miss anything? Did I miss anything? Was that accurate? That's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. Yes, scheduled for renovation. Absolutely. The house was scheduled for renovation. And when the Cambridges got a $2 million driveway or whatever it was, nobody said a word. There was no big deal about it. While they were throwing all these facts and figures and lies about the Sussexes, nobody said anything about the Cambridges and all the money that they have cost the taxpayers. That was a non-issue. Well, yeah, Andrew's security is paid for, bought and paid for. The Queen is not going to volunteer to pay for his security. And why? Because he's still an HRH. He is still free to come and go, but he just won't come to the United States for obvious reasons. So, let's see. Silence from the UK tabloids. Absolutely. Yeah, his cousins are in the home. Absolutely. He allowed them to stay there. And when he went back for his to the servants' quarters for his mother's statue unveiling, he stayed in a wing of the house by himself, it was said. so that he can quarantine properly. This is a case where Prince Harry, as far as I can tell, Prince Harry has done everything right, and every wrong that you could possibly do to him from that institution. I believe it all revolves right back to this person right here. That's absolutely humiliating for Harry. That is embarrassing. It's humiliating. It's cruel. Yeah, and to think I felt really bad that they left because I wanted to see walkabouts. I wanted to see the Duchess demonstrating that a person of color can be in those circles and function and actually excel at the job of unveiling plaques. That she could excel at all those things plus 10 times more because of what she's capable of when it comes to charities and not for profits. But instead, they had to leave. And even though at the time it made me very afraid for them, now I realized I was wrong. I was wrong, and I admit it. They needed to leave. They had to go for their own safety and security because they were not safe over there. And see, this is one of those days where we desperately need Tina and Michelle. Can I get an amen on that? This is one of those days where we desperately need Tina and Michelle. Let me see. She did not really deserve it. However, that's his grandmother. So let him decide. Now listen, Annie, I'm trying to pick some food out of my teeth and I need a good mirror. That's why he's on the screen. So let me get this out of my teeth and then I'll get rid of them. Okay, I'm done. I just needed a mirror for a second. That's why I had him up there. Oh boy. Yeah, 1013 watching. They know Meghan can do all. Meghan was able to excel at the job of being princess. I love the way they said that Duchess Jazz Hands was going to show her the way, that Kate would take her under her wing. If Kate is going to help Meghan, who's going to help Kate? Because she ain't got it figured out yet. If Kate is going to lend a helping hand to Meghan, who's going to help Kate? Shouldn't it be the other way around? Shouldn't it be the other way around? If Kate is going to take Meghan under her wing, who's helping her? The air hostess? I don't think so. Now, if somebody needs a cart of beverages fast, okay, yeah, the air hostess might be able to help. But when it comes to the job of being a princess or being a duchess, I don't think this is the person that you look to for a helping hand, especially if the hands are moving all over the place so rapidly. How could she help? That was just petty. But but does this impress you as somebody who has the working knowledge of the royal household? What she does best is this: stand there and smile. Just don't move, don't say too much, and don't do too much, which is something she's adept at doing, is much of nothing because she doesn't want to work anyway. Even the queen calls her lazy. The only jobs that she ever had was working in a clothing store for 2 months, which you wouldn't know from her fashion choices, but she did work in a clothing store. That is absolutely petty, and I stand behind everything I just said. But you wouldn't know it from her fashion choices that she had worked in a clothing store for 2 months. And of course, before that, she helped her parents bully the employees around allegedly, but that's a true story. They said a lot of people who worked for the Cambridges in Buckleberry, Huckleberry, or wherever that place is, they said those people who worked for them were constantly bullied and that their pay was docked if they took too long coming back from their breaks. So she's used to picking on people. She's a mean girl. She's used to picking on people. But the trouble is that the idea that she has excelled as a duchess, that's outrageous because she hasn't done anything. And then they tried to big her up by putting her in front of a piano while allegedly somebody else played. And this was supposed to be her defining moment. This, and of course, running around like some type of Victorian ghost. That was supposed to be the defining moment of her time in the royal family. She's keening. She's just found herself. Kate has just come into her own. We've heard that over and over again. And as they said on Celibacy, this is the keening season for Kate, where she makes a declaration of everything that she's going to do in the next calendar year, only for us to find out that she's worked a total of between 200 and 250 hours. And that's it, the equivalent of about 2 months' work, if that, but about the equivalent of 2 months' work. Nice work if you can get it. I need that job. I really need that job. And this is the person who was supposed to give a helping hand to the Duchess of Sussex. I'm not buying it. I mean, take a look at that. Take a look at that. Is that the same person? Is that the same person? Thank you for this, Twitter. But is that the same person? Okay, the bad eyebrows, I could see that. But if you notice, on one photo, the mouth is askew, as I said. And on the other photo, they have managed to straighten things out a little bit. See that? One photo, the mouth is askew because she's been grinning too much. And then this glamour shot with this fuzzy image, they managed to straighten out her mouth. Now, either that was a photographer or a magician. Yes, Adrian, no color. They washed all the color out. They washed all the color out of the photo. That's frightening. I wonder what the kids thought of that. I mean, is that something that one should show their children? Would you share that with a child? That's a child who wouldn't sleep at night. So, okay, let me go to your comments and then we're going to wrap this up soon. Okay, Joseph? Yes, she's running circles around Copy Kate. Meghan has always had a very regal manner about herself, but not in a way that she's out of touch with people. Thank you, Black Queen. And Mary Mann mascara right out of the Trump Project playbook. I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it has something to do with the Cambridges. Okay, Trinette Mitchell. Yes, those commandments came from a resident of Windsor, not the Sussexes. Yeah, absolutely. They tried to say the Sussexes. I think the person who said it meant well. Don't get caught up in the celebrity of things and get too pushy, or that person was trying to protect them from the paparazzi, people trying to sell photos or something like that. Or maybe the person was trying to make trouble for them. I don't know. But we do know it did not come from the Sussexes. Charlotte B, welcome. Toujours, say, imbecile, miserable, idiot, Piers Morgan. Okay, I'm not able to speak French, but I do understand that she's saying Piers Morgan is a miserable idiot, um, or imbecile. So that's idiot. Yeah. So I think Piers Morgan is a miserable idiot. We. I love Charlotte B. Um, um, how do I say that? Um, 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 Chaton, Charlotte B. Yeah. Okay. Exactly. Kate is just making sure everyone knows that. I think I noticed that. Yeah, I think I noticed that. But thank you, Ruth Lopez. I was starting to catch on, believe me. I'm kind of slow, but I'm worth waiting for. I think I did notice that. And this editing assures that everybody else knows it too. Oh boy, you guys are messy today. I love it. Um, let's see. Yes, they wanted to have her as a poster girl for WS. I'm not sure what that is. I should know what it is, but okay, okay. Yes, Pierce. Well, I call him Hoghead because for some reason, when I look at Pierce Morgan, I just think of hogs. Hoghead Pierce Morgan, because he got that big hog head. I don't know why some of those like really dodgy people like that, their heads seem to have overgrown their bodies in some kind of way. But yeah, he's a hog head. And but yeah, he was hoping to somehow he what's really pathetic about him is that he is still trying to piggyback his way to stardom using the Duchess of Sussex. He thinks that if he keeps invoking, look at there, hog head. That's a hog head. Hog, hog head. See there? That's a big hog head. And that hog is one of the fastest land animals ever created. Look at how fast he jumped up and lost his job. This is one of my favorite moments. You all know that because I've said this too many times. That the fact that this fool jumped out of his seat, I'm not going to take that, and ran out the studio and then was surprised that they didn't give him his job back. You resigned. You resigned. How many people do you think that as a person of color, I could jump out my seat and say, I'm not going to take this? And I can run out of my job and expect somebody to come running behind me. Oh, please, please, Baron, please come back. We need you. We need you. That doesn't happen. So if it doesn't happen for me, then why would it happen for Free Willy Piers Morgan? Why would it happen for him? Look at him. Look at that posture. Boy, that just kills me every time. This kills me every time. You know, thank you, Dr. Shola. Thank you, Alex Beresford. Thank you, both of you, for making this moment possible. I am going to build a shrine to Dr. Shola and Alex Beresford later. And of course, Alex Shrine won't have a shirt on, but then that's how most people recognize him. But thank you for this moment because of the two of you, this hog-headed idiot is no longer harassing the Duchess of Sussex 5 days a week on Good Morning Britain. I thought that would never end, but it did. It can and it did end. So anyway, speaking of end, who wants the last word? It's been almost 2 hours. Who wants to? Oh, let me get that hog head off the screen. Um, let's see. Who wants the last word? Lou Rock, haven't heard from you. worked of deceit, did the article of the neighborhood, seven commandments as it came from here. Oh, yeah. I didn't know that was Emily Andrews. Thank you for telling me that. I had no idea that that's who was responsible. That's that one that looks like a clown, right? Emily Andrews. Isn't she the one that looks like a clown? She had on way too much makeup that time. And I'm not so familiar with her, I'm embarrassed to say, but I I've certainly heard of her before, but that was one that I wasn't so familiar with. But yeah, Emily Andrews looked like she was auditioning for the Joker the last time I saw her. So oh yes, Miranda Rios. We cannot forget our queens. Well, we kind of did that already, but I'll do it again. But yes, we cannot forget our queens. Um, let's see. I'll do this first, and then we will celebrate our queens. Let's see. Come on up here. Okay. All right. I was searching for a photo, but I guess it just was not. Oh, I found it. I found it. Since we were on the topic, I could not resist. You know how I am. I am very subject to suggestion. Did I say clown? Did I say clown? Send in the clowns. Isn't it bliss? Are we a pair? Oh, the mic was off. The mic was off. But yeah, they all seem to have that look about them. Okay. It is probably that time. Okay. It is probably that time. So let's celebrate our queens. Let's get rid of the clowns. And of course, we celebrate our queens, Doria and Diana. Diana, the Princess of Wales, who made Harry's future life in America possible. Excuse me. Hold on, I need water. Okay. I've been hitting the mute so I can make some obnoxious sounds. And also, let's celebrate our the Queen Doria, who made the Duchess of Sussex's future possible with her courageous, stoic dignity. So we celebrate our two queens. And with that, who would like to have the last word of the day? Excuse me. Um, you know what? I'll take this. I'll take this. I'll let this be the last word. Usually I don't like to have the compliment, but Connie, I will accept. And thank you all for joining us on Royal Sussex. And thank you so much for supporting the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and baby Archie, baby Lily Diana. Thank you for your continuous support of Doria, the queen of everything. And thank you for participating in the Sussex Squad. Thank you for bringing and maintaining your receipts because with your help, we are able to tell the truth, not a truth, but the truth about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and what they've been through. It's been a tough time, but I think they have weathered the storm well. And okay. And I think that Ivy just posted something. I just saw that out the corner of my eye. Hello, Ivy here. Hello, Ivy here. I haven't said that all day. Hello, Ivy here. Ivy out. Okay, so thank you, Connie. Thank you, everyone. So long, Dara, Susie Q, Elaine Parker, J Law, Patty Askew, Audrey Teshna, Zenobia Wood, Jean MK, Lydia Washington, Gwendolyn Daniels, Sherry Ware, Marshall, Pamela, Lil Rock, Lavender Rose, Beverly McCaskill, Bonnie, is that Bonnie Mighty? Ladyfoot, Sonia Johnson, Seston Cece, Miranda Rios, Talisha Perry, Terry H., and Rosa Roberts, Denise Marcus, Adrian Barrow, Cookies and Cream, Darlene Anderson, Judy Regold, Fancy, Sherry Ware, Agnes Phillips, Miss Pirot, Perot. Yeah, Perot. It's Paro. Miss Paro. Okay. Black Queen, Sonia Johnson, Lorna Murray, Chanel Tyler, let's see, Rory B, Yvonne Clark, Sandy Powell. Okay, y'all can start getting out of here. Still 800 of you. This is it. I'm just calling names. Well, we got to go, y'all. It's been 2 hours. Fatal, Patty. Okay, I said that already. Ty Fletcher. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Love you all. So long. Okay, y'all know I forgot to end broadcast, right? I was wondering how is this? I forgot. Oh, look at there. There's some feedback. I was wondering. I was wondering. Look at this. I'm all over the place. All right. Okay. Look at that. I got feedback and everything. I was wondering how is this thing still going after I ended the broadcast? And okay, so this is official this time, y'all. This is official. Love y'all. I'm out of here. This is the end of broadcast. Au revoir, Charlotte B. Au revoir. Uh, oh my God, this is so funny. I have just so. Oh, anyway, y'all know how I do sometimes. Lydia, you still here too? I thought everybody was gone. I'm so glad I didn't say the wrong thing after I thought I had finished, but now I am going to officially end this broadcast. And remember, you guys, and don't forget this. Don't forget I said this. Y'all ready to hear it? Don't forget my advice or my warning to you all. Listen closely. I want your ear close to the speaker. The calls are coming from inside the house. The calls are coming from inside the house. So, okay, I'm done. Okay, I'm gone. I'm going to hit end broadcast. Arrivederci, au revoir, hasta la vista, hasta mañana, and so forth. Bye, y'all.